To understand how the non-surgical spinal decompression works, we need to go over some anatomy of the spine. This is the spine. I'll turn around like this, and this is from the back. These are the bumps you can feel on your back. These are the vertebrae. That's the spinal cord. This is the disc. Now the disc is basically like a balloon filled with gel. Inside the middle of the disc, this round thing right here is called the nucleus pulposus. And it's like rock hard, like one of those super balls like when you were a young kid and you bounced them and they went real high, real dense. It's basically the fulcrum for how the spine functions. So when it's in the middle right here, the vertebra above can move like this, and it can move sideways. Well, what happens in the spinal conditions, whether it's a disc, bulging disc, desiccated disc, herniated disc, whatever you want to call it. There's two big ligaments of the spine, the anterior and the posterior longitudinal ligament. They're considered the great wall of the spine. So usually what happens is that over a period of time, this big ligament that goes all the way back here, that ligament holds the disc in place. So you have a little injury, you have some back pain, maybe some leg pain, you put some ice on it, it goes away, but it's like that. And then as time goes on, more and more, and pretty soon that ligament that's supposed to hold the disc in there, it goes back. So what happens then is when you have something that causes intrathecal pressure, which is where you load the spine and strain, the disc moves like this when that happens. But as long as that ligament's there, it's going to work perfectly. When that ligament is stretched, that weakens that area biomechanically. So when you load and twist, the disc can move back a little bit. Now, the only way the disc moves back is this nucleus moves back there. And when that does, all this discal material that is here pushes out. That's why you can have a mild, moderate, severe bulging disc or herniated disc. So the surgical approach to this is just to trim the disc, and that takes care of that. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't bring the ligament back, and it doesn't move the nucleus back, so it doesn't work right. We've had several patients that have had surgery 4 and 5 years ago where they trimmed the disc and did a laminectomy, and now they have symptoms again. When we did the MRI, not only was the surgical disc bulging again, now they had discs up above and below. So it didn't fix the problem. So anyway, how is a non-surgical spinal decompression different? Because it creates a negative vacuum when it goes like that inside, pulling the nucleus back in. And as the nucleus goes back in, then the discal material goes back in. Once that's all the way in, then what happens is that negative pressure that pulled the disc in now pulls the ligament in, and we leave it there long enough, and then we do the ATM, the advanced therapeutic movements, to strengthen that area. Another thing that makes our back and neck pain program so unique is not only we do the decompression, but we also do flexion distraction. So when you're looking at it from the side like this, that nucleus should be more in the middle. And whenever a disc goes back like that, the nucleus migrates back, and it either goes medial or lateral to the nerve root. That's why some patients can have back pain, some patients can have leg pain, some patients can have back and leg pain, or numbness and tingling or weakness. So what happens is when the decompression goes like this, it works fantastic. But what we do is then we add the flexion distraction, where we go like this. And what it does is opens up this gap right here, because that nucleus has gone back and it's stuck there. So when we go forward like this, it opens it up with the decompression and it pulls it back in.